Across the stars, in the grand halls of alien empires, there were always stories. Some were about battles won, others about enemies crushed. But the strangest stories were about a species that almost no one had seen. They were called humans. The rumors spoke of them in whispers. Some said they lived on the edge of the galaxy, hidden behind strange borders. Others said they never joined councils, never traded, and never spoke to outsiders. They kept to themselves, silent, distant, as if waiting for something. Many young rulers of the galaxy laughed at these tales. A species that hides is weak, they declared. If they had power, they would show it. If they had ships, they would march them proudly. To them, silence was not strength. It was cowardice. But the elders disagreed. The oldest among the alien races remembered fragments of history. They remembered times when fleets had vanished near human space. They remembered systems going dark, never to be seen again. They remembered broken ships drifting without explanation, and warnings carved into the wreckage. One elder spoke in the Council of Nine. "Do not test them. Do not seek them. If you ever see their warship, you will understand why we fear them." But the chamber erupted in laughter. Younger voices drowned out the warning. They called the humans a myth, a story for children. They claimed the elders were only trying to hold power with fear. And so the warnings were forgotten, replaced by arrogance. Still, the rumors did not die. Merchants whispered of strange signals on the edge of trade routes. Explorers told of dark shapes that swallowed stars in silence. Soldiers swore they saw shadows larger than moons moving without engines. None could prove it, but all felt the same unease. The humans were there, somewhere, watching. In the capital of the Zorati Dominion, young Lord Velra sat on his throne, mocking the stories. "Humans," he said with a smirk. "If they were real, we would have crushed them long ago." His generals bowed, agreeing, but their eyes betrayed doubt. Even they had heard tales of ships that vanished without trace. Far away, in the Valari Ascendancy, Empress Kira dismissed the rumors as tools of fear. "The galaxy belongs to those who take it," she told her advisors. "If these humans wish to hide, let them. When the time comes, we will take their worlds." And yet, beneath her words, there was tension. Reports from her scouts had returned incomplete. Ships that entered human borders did not return. Scanners showed strange distortions, as if space itself bent around something enormous. The galaxy ignored these warnings. After all, they had faced wars before. They had crushed rebellions, defeated rivals, and expanded across the stars. Why should a silent species hidden in the dark be any different? But in secret, some began to wonder. The elders spoke again, their voices grim. "You think silence is weakness. You think hiding means fear. But silence can be patience. And patience can be the sharpest blade." The younger rulers laughed, but the words stayed with them. A blade in silence. A weapon unseen. A warship never spoken of. The rumors grew darker. A merchant claimed he saw a ship larger than a city drifting on the edge of his sensors. Another swore that he heard a voice through the static of his comms, a calm voice that said only one word: "Leave." Explorers brought back strange fragments, metal that scanners could not read, alloys stronger than any known. They said they found them floating near dead systems, as if left behind like warnings. The galaxy chose not to believe. Pride was easier than fear. And yet, when fleets gathered in council space, when the rulers planned their next expansion, the question always came back. What of the humans? Do they truly exist? The debate split the chambers. Some demanded proof. Some demanded invasion. Others begged for caution. The elders sat in silence, shaking their heads. They knew the truth, but no one wanted to hear it. Finally, Lord Velra of the Zorati slammed his fist on the table. "We cannot live in fear of shadows. If humans exist, let them show themselves. If they have ships, let us see them. And if they are weak, we will crush them as we crushed all others." The chamber roared with approval. Pride filled the air. The decision was made. Fleets would march toward human borders. The day of arrogance had begun. But far away, in the dark edges of the galaxy, something stirred. In the silence of deep space, a shadow moved. Larger than any alien fleet, it drifted with no sound, no light, no signal. Its hull swallowed the stars, its shape hidden by darkness. It watched. It waited. And when the fleets of the proud empires came closer, it would reveal itself. The rumors were not lies. They were warnings. Warnings ignored. The day was coming when the galaxy would finally see a human warship. And when that day came, silence would fall across the stars. The fleets of the galaxy moved with confidence. Thousands of alien ships, banners glowing, weapons ready, engines burning bright as they crossed into the edge of human space. They expected resistance. They expected warnings. They expected defenses. But they found nothing. The first systems they entered were silent. Planets orbited their stars, untouched. No ships patrolled, no signals echoed across the void. It was as if the entire region had been abandoned. Admiral Taver of the Zorati Dominion stood on the bridge of his flagship, frowning. "Strange," he muttered. "Not even a probe to greet us. Do these humans hide so deeply?" His officers nodded nervously, scanning for threats, but the sensors showed only silence. The emptiness was unsettling. Farther in, they found ruins. Not ruins of cities, but of war. Broken alien ships, some unrecognizable, floated in endless silence. Their hulls were torn apart, melted as if by weapons too powerful to imagine. "Not ours," whispered one officer. "Not Zorati, not Valari, not any we know." The crews whispered among themselves. Who had destroyed them? Were these the remains of old battles? Or warnings left behind? The commanders brushed off the fear. "Old wars," they said. "Relics. Nothing to do with us." And so, the fleets pushed deeper. But the silence grew heavier. Systems that should have been alive with activity were dead. Space itself seemed wrong, as if shadows moved just beyond sight. Scanners flickered. Engines failed for moments at a time. It felt as though the very stars were holding their breath. One scout ship reported strange readings. "Admiral, there's something out there. Something big." "Define big," Taver demanded. "Bigger than a moon. Bigger than our largest ship." The signal cut out before they could ask more. The scout was gone, no wreckage left behind. Whispers spread quickly through the fleet. Some said the humans were watching. Others said the shadows themselves were alive. Fear grew, but pride forced the admirals to continue. In the Valari fleet, Empress Kira's voice echoed across her warships. "Do not falter. Silence is weakness. If they are hiding, it is because they fear us." Her words gave courage, but only for a moment. For the crews who stared into the empty void, courage was fragile. Then came the first sighting. A sensor officer screamed, pointing at his display. Something just blocked the stars, something enormous. The bridge crew rushed to the windows. At first, there was nothing. Then they saw it, a shadow, darker than space itself, sliding silently across the stars. It had no lights, no engines, no signals. Yet it moved with purpose, like a predator circling its prey. "Is it a ship?" one officer whispered. No one answered. The admirals ordered scans, but the sensors failed. Every attempt to read the object came back as static, as if the void refused to reveal its secret. Then the shadow was gone. Just as suddenly as it appeared, it vanished into the dark. The crews were left shaken, their hands trembling on their controls. "An illusion," Admiral Taver declared, though his voice shook. "A trick of the stars. Nothing more." But no one believed him. That night, if night could exist in the endless void, another fleet ship vanished. One moment it was there. The next, its signal was gone. No explosion, no wreckage, no distress call. Just silence. The alien fleets grew restless. Fear spread like wildfire. Yet the commanders refused to retreat. To retreat would mean admitting weakness. And pride was stronger than fear, at least for now. Deep within human space, more shadows stirred. Massive shapes drifted, hidden in the dark. They moved with silence, gliding like hunters waiting for the right moment to strike. The aliens did not yet understand. What they had seen was not an illusion. It was real. It was only the beginning. The elders, far away in the council chambers, felt a chill. Reports reached them in fragments, filled with static and fear. They knew what was happening. The younger rulers had ignored their warnings, and now they would pay the price. One elder whispered to another, "They have crossed the frontier. Soon, they will see the truth. And then, silence will fall." Back at the fleet, the admirals gathered. Some argued to continue deeper, to find the humans and prove their power. Others demanded retreat. Voices clashed, tempers burned. But before a decision could be made, every ship in the fleet felt it. A pulse. Not a weapon, not an attack. Just a soundless wave of energy that rippled through the void. Lights flickered, engines failed, and for a brief moment, every screen went black. When the systems came back, the stars outside looked different. And then they saw it. Something vast. Something impossible. A shape so large it filled the horizon, blocking starlight for entire fleets. A warship. The first true glimpse of humanity's power. No words were spoken. No orders were given. Across every bridge, across every crew, the same thought filled their minds. The rumors were true. And they were not ready for what came next. The alien fleets hung in the void, frozen not by fear but by disbelief. A single shadow had stopped them in their tracks, a massive shape so large it swallowed the light of distant stars. Commanders barked orders, officers scanned frantically, but no readings made sense. Admiral Taver slammed his fist against the table on his bridge. "This is impossible," he shouted. "No ship can be that size. Sensors are lying." But deep down, he knew they were not. The shadow loomed, silent, patient, and unmoving. It was a human warship, the first any of them had ever truly seen. And it was nothing like the stories they had dismissed. Empress Kira's voice echoed through her fleet. "Focus your scanners. Attack if you must. Show them our strength." The younger leaders of the galaxy were determined. They had gathered thousands of ships, armadas of firepower meant to crush anything that dared oppose them. Their pride demanded victory. Their arrogance demanded proof that humans were weak. But the shadow did not move. 4 hours, fleets hovered, scanning, analyzing, probing. Every attempt failed. Weapons tests yielded nothing. Energy beams bounced harmlessly off invisible shields. Missiles fizzled before leaving launchers. The humans were not just hidden, they were untouchable. Whispers spread through the alien crews. "Are they ghosts?" one officer asked. "Magic," another said. "No, they are humans," a terrified pilot whispered. "The stories are true." The fleets pressed forward anyway. Pride demanded it. They could not back down, not after laughing at elders' warnings, not after mocking the legends. They marched, weapons blazing, hoping sheer numbers would break the unknown. But then something strange began to happen. One by one, ships experienced system failures. Engines stalled mid-jump. Communication arrays went silent. Shield generators flickered and died. It was not random. Every failure seemed deliberate, precise, like someone, or something, was controlling the void itself. Panic grew. Some fleets tried to retreat, but engines would not respond. Others attempted to regroup, only to find themselves drifting alone, cut off from command. The humans were not just hiding, they were hunting in silence. Admiral Taver realized the truth, his face pale. "We are trapped," he whispered. "We cannot fight what we cannot see." Still, the younger rulers refused to believe. They shouted orders, demanded attacks, threatened punishment. They could not yet grasp that their arrogance had blinded them to reality. And then it appeared. From the darkness, another shadow moved, vast and silent. Not one ship this time, but a second, and then a third. Titan-class warships, enormous beyond imagination, gliding effortlessly through space. Their engines glowed faintly, a pale light against the darkness. No flags. No mockings. No words. Just presence. The alien fleets froze. Every officer knew in that moment, they were outmatched. Not by numbers, not by tactics, but by something far older, far smarter, and far more dangerous. Humans were not just fighters, they were the storm waiting at the edge of the galaxy. The elders, watching from secret chambers, whispered to one another. "They will learn," said one. "But too late," said another. Back in the council chambers, younger rulers argued frantically. "We still have numbers," one shouted. "We can overwhelm them," another insisted. "We just need one proper strike," a third cried. But none could act. Engines failed. Sensors froze. Weapons misfired. Pride had no power here. Only fear filled the void. A single pilot, shaking, spoke privately to his commander. "They are bigger than our fleets combined. I've never seen anything like it." The commander did not reply. There were no words left that could explain what they were facing. The humans did not attack. Not yet. They moved slowly, deliberately, as if testing patience. Their silence was deliberate, oppressive, a lesson in itself. The fleets of the galaxy realized too late, this was not a species to be challenged lightly. Admiral Taver collapsed into his chair, voice trembling. "They have been waiting, all this time. We walked into their domain thinking we were hunters. And instead—" He could not finish. Across the void, the shadows of human warships continued to drift, silent, patient, unstoppable. The alien fleets were trapped, not by force, but by the inevitability of what was coming. And as the darkness stretched across the stars, one thought ran through every mind. The stories had been true. Humans were not weak. Humans were not a myth. They were the storm. The alien commanders realized, in terror and awe, that the first strike would not come tomorrow, nor the day after. The strike had already begun, quietly, invisibly. And soon, silence would fall across the galaxy. The alien fleets hung in the void, engines humming nervously, weapons ready, but no one dared to move first. The massive human warships drifted silently, colossal shadows that blocked starlight, dark and unmoving. It was as if space itself held its breath. Admiral Taver paced his bridge, his hands shaking. "Fire everything! Do not let them sit there!" he shouted. His voice carried panic, though he tried to hide it behind authority. The younger rulers cheered, believing victory was close. They thought the humans would panic like any other species. Pride had blinded them for generations. But the humans did not move. The first shots were fired. Plasma beams lit the void, missiles streaked toward the massive hull. The aliens expected explosions, chaos, and smoke. But nothing happened. The weapons fizzled harmlessly. Missiles stopped mid-flight, then drifted, useless. Energy beams bent around the warship like water flowing around a rock. "Impossible!" cried a commander. "Our weapons, they're failing!" Silence followed. The alien crews stared at their instruments, wide-eyed. Nothing had touched the human ship, and yet the power emanating from it was immense. Unyielding. Then the human warship moved. Slowly, methodically. Its engines glowed faintly, a light that did not burn, but seemed to bend space itself. No warning, no roar, only a quiet, terrible presence. A single beam of pure energy shot from its massive hull. It did not explode, it sliced through the alien fleet like a knife through paper. One battleship vanished instantly. Another followed. Then a destroyer. Within moments, dozens of ships were gone. Panic spread like wildfire. "Retreat! Retreat!" shouted one officer. But engines stalled. Shields failed. Weapons misfired. Every attempt to escape was blocked. The humans were not just powerful, they controlled the battlefield itself. Across the void, other human warships began to move. Shadows gliding silently, engines barely glowing. They positioned themselves like predators, encircling the alien fleets. Each shot they fired was precise, calculated, leaving no room for error. The younger rulers could no longer hide their fear. Their pride crumbled. They realized the elders' warnings were true. Humans were not weak. Humans were not just ships. Humans were a force unlike anything the galaxy had seen. One alien captain, shaking, spoke privately to his commander. "They are monsters. They are not mortal." The commander did not respond. Words had no meaning here. The silence of the humans was worse than fire. Worse than death. It was judgment. The elders, far away, watched in quiet sorrow. "They gave you a chance," one whispered. "You would not listen," another said. "And now you see what patience can do." Back on the bridge of Tavor's flagship, alarms screamed. Ships collided as crews tried to flee. Commanders shouted orders, but no one obeyed. The human fleet moved with calm precision, striking and retreating in silence. Every attack was final. Every strike was absolute. The younger rulers realized that this was not an attack. They were being shown the full measure of human power. And yet, still, the humans did not speak. Not a single word. Only movement. Only presence. One officer tried to broadcast a warning across the fleet, but his comms were cut. His voice trembled as he said, They control space itself. We cannot fight them." Even as chaos spread, the human admiral remained calm aboard the flagship. His eyes scanned the battlefield, observing, judging. Not with anger, not with hate, but with the certainty of one who knows their strength. Another beam cut through an alien cruiser, slicing it cleanly in half. The void was silent again, except for the faint hum of engines and the crackle of destroyed weapon systems. The alien fleets were broken. Pride, arrogance, and hope had vanished. Only fear remained. Fear of the unseen, fear of the silent, fear of humans. The first battle was over before it began. The aliens did not surrender, but they could not fight. Every command, every strategy, every fleet formation had been rendered meaningless. And still, the humans did not speak. Across the void, the other human warships positioned themselves strategically. Shadows moved in patterns no alien mind could calculate. They were not just fighting, they were teaching a lesson. The galaxy had ignored the warnings, and now it was learning the cost. The Elder's prophecy had come true. The first sight of a human warship would bring silence across the stars. And this silence was not fear alone, it was the understanding of what lay ahead. The young rulers, huddled in their chambers across the galaxy, stared at their screens in terror. Their greatest pride had been destroyed in minutes by one species. And from the void, the message was clear: humanity was patient. Humanity was powerful. Humanity had only just begun. The shadow of the human fleet drifted silently among the wreckage, calm and unyielding. The galaxy would never forget this moment. The storm had arrived. The void was quiet, but it was not peace. Alien ships drifted like broken toys, shattered and burning slowly, remnants of fleets that had once filled the galaxy with pride. The first human warship had already shown its strength, and now the others moved into place, calm, deliberate, unstoppable. Admiral Tavor's fleet was scattered. Some ships tried to retreat, but engines failed. Others drifted aimlessly, unable to communicate. Fear had taken control. Commands went unheard. Pride and arrogance dissolved into panic. In the council halls of the younger rulers, chaos erupted. Screams, shouts, and accusations filled every chamber. "We cannot lose. We must strike back," cried one. "We are too powerful to fail," shouted another. But deep inside, even they knew, they had already failed. The elders, watching from hidden chambers, remained calm. They had warned this would happen. The young rulers ignored them. Now they were seeing the result. One elder whispered to another. They could have listened. They could have survived. But pride blinded them. From the darkness of space, human warships moved with quiet precision. They did not need to shout. They did not need explosions. Every strike, every move, was perfect. Alien fleets collapsed under their might. Battleships, carriers, cruisers, none could stand against humans. One alien pilot tried to escape, weaving between debris, hoping to reach safety. A human warship followed silently. One precise shot vaporized his ship. Another followed. The void filled with nothing but silence and fear. The humans did not speak, not yet. Silence itself became a weapon. Across every fleet, across every world watching the reports, one thought spread: humanity was not to be trifled with. Then, a channel opened. Not with interference, not with static, but with a voice. Calm. Firm. Absolute. "This is Admiral Marcus Kane of the Terran Defense Fleet," the voice said. It echoed across every surviving alien channel. We did not want war. We warned you with silence. You chose to ignore it. The survivors froze. Their pride crumbled under the weight of the words. It was not anger, not threats, but authority. Calm authority that carried more weight than entire fleets. You attacked our borders. You sent your fleets to provoke us. You believed we were weak. You believed our silence meant fear, Kane continued. Now you see the truth. Humanity is patient. Humanity is precise. And humanity does not forgive arrogance. One commander whispered to his crew, voice trembling. They are speaking to us like gods. The admiral's words carried across the void, filling the emptiness with judgment. We are not conquerors. We do not seek your worlds. We seek only respect. But if you strike again, if you bring war to our borders, we will not stop. What you have seen today is only the beginning. Panic spread. Some alien ships attempted to retreat again, but the human fleet anticipated every move. Shadows glided silently, positioning themselves like predators circling their prey. Every escape route was blocked. Every attempt at defiance was cut off. The elders shook their heads, whispering, They have mercy, yet they do not need it. The galaxy will remember this day. The younger rulers, trembling, realized the truth. Their fleets were shattered, their pride destroyed, their arrogance punished. They could no longer claim strength or dominance. Humanity had shown them what true power looked like. Across the void, more human warships appeared in silence. Not one word was spoken, yet the message was clear. Humans were everywhere and nowhere. They could strike when they wished, and the galaxy would tremble. The survivors of the alien fleets drifted, silent, broken. Some tried to regroup, but fear had replaced order. Even those who escaped the battlefield knew their empires would never be the same. Humanity had marked them forever. In the council chambers, younger rulers wept, argued, and begged for solutions. Some demanded revenge. Others pleaded for mercy. But the elders knew there was no undoing what had been seen. Pride had been shattered. Humility had been forced upon them by a species they had dismissed as myths. On the flagship of the human fleet, Admiral Kane watched the reports quietly. His face was calm, expression unreadable. Orders were given to hold position, to return home in shadows. They had shown the galaxy their strength. They had spoken, and their silence had become a warning. Leave them, Kane said softly to his officers. Let them tell the story. Let the galaxy learn what happens to those who ignore us. The human fleet vanished slowly into the darkness, leaving behind wreckage and shattered pride. The alien empires would rebuild, yes, but they would rebuild with fear. They would rebuild knowing that the species they had dismissed as weak was far beyond their imagination. The elders whispered once more, voices heavy with sorrow. They have spoken, and the galaxy has heard. Humanity's judgment has begun. The younger rulers would never forget the first battle, nor the voice that carried across the stars. Silence had fallen, not out of respect, not out of peace, but out of fear. And the legend of humanity had begun. The storm had passed, for now. But the galaxy knew, it would not be the last time humans showed their strength. The void was quiet again, but it was not peace. The alien fleets that had survived the first attack drifted like broken toys, scattered across space. Fires burned slowly along shattered hulls, a faint glow against the endless darkness. Every surviving commander knew one truth. Humans were not like any enemy they had faced before. They had seen the ships, felt the precision of the attacks, and heard the calm voice of Admiral Kane. Silence had become a weapon. And now, humanity would speak. A channel opened across the surviving alien fleets. The sound of a human voice, calm, deep, and steady, echoed through every comm system. "This is Admiral Marcus Kane of the Terran Defense Fleet," he said. The voice carried authority, clarity, and an unshakable confidence. "We did not wish for war. We gave you warning through silence, through patience, through restraint. You chose to ignore it. You chose to bring your fleets to our borders." Across the galaxy, alien crews froze. The younger rulers, pale and trembling, heard the words and could barely move. They had faced thousands of humans in the void, and yet, Nothing had prepared them for the weight of humanity's voice. Humanity is not a myth, Kane continued. We are patient, we are precise, and we do not forgive arrogance. We do not seek conquest, and we do not desire your worlds. We seek only respect, order, and peace. But know this, if you strike again, if you raise fleets against us, we will not hesitate. The first strike was a warning. What you have witnessed is only a glimpse of our power. The alien fleets shuddered as the words sank in. For the first time, pride did not give them courage. Arrogance offered no shield. Fear replaced strategy, and panic spread among those who had survived. Empress Kira whispered to her generals, voice trembling, They are not like us. They are not even a race we can fight on equal terms. The elders, watching quietly from hidden chambers, nodded. They had known this moment would come. The galaxy has learned, one elder said. Now they understand. Across the void, human warships drifted silently, massive silhouettes against the stars. They did not need to speak again. Their presence, calm and unyielding, reinforced every word Admiral Kane had spoken. Ships that dared to move without orders found themselves immobilized, their engines failing under invisible control. Every path through space was watched, every escape attempted was anticipated. The survivors of the alien fleets looked at each other in disbelief. Ships that had once carried the pride of empires now floated like shadows, crippled and broken. They realized that what they had faced was not the full measure of humanity's strength. They had seen only a warning. Kane's voice continued, measured, almost serene. To those who doubted us, to those who mocked our silence, to those who thought humans were weak or small, remember this day. Remember what it feels like to face the calm before the storm. You have learned what patience can build. You have learned what silence can conceal. One officer, shaking, muttered to his companion, They are not angry. And yet, I feel, judged. We have seen the beginning of something far greater than war. The younger rulers could not respond. Their pride was shattered, their plans in ruins. They had learned humility in the void. They had seen what patience, strategy, and raw power could do when wielded without haste. The human fleet, having spoken, began to fade from sensors. Slowly, silently, it moved back toward the edge of the system, disappearing into the darkness. They did not celebrate. They did not cheer. Their mission was complete. Humanity had made its point. The galaxy would remember it forever. In the council chambers, the younger rulers sat, pale and trembling. Some tried to plan retaliation, but the knowledge of what they had faced paralyzed them. They could rebuild fleets, yes, but they could not rebuild confidence. They could not erase the memory of the calm, precise, unstoppable humans who had judged them in silence and spoken once, with authority that left no doubt. The elders spoke quietly among themselves. They will return when they must, one said. And we will all be ready, another whispered. But the galaxy will never forget the voice, a third added. Far away, on a small blue planet, Earth gleamed peacefully in the darkness. Its cities, oceans, and lands were calm, unaware of the chaos their species had just created among the stars. Humanity had made its presence known. The galaxy had learned to fear, to respect, and to never again underestimate what lay hidden in silence. The legend had begun. The first sight of a human warship had brought silence. The first strike had brought fear. And now, humanity's voice had echoed across the void, leaving every alien fleet, every ruler, and every civilization with a single truth. The galaxy had changed forever. And somewhere in the shadows, humanity waited. Patient. Silent. Ready. The storm had passed, for now, but the echo of its arrival would never fade.